What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRine. I got my co-host, J Bob, on the line with me today. What's good, bro?
Not much, man. Looking forward to what we got lined up for you tonight here. Obviously missing SD, but look forward to having him back next week. But I want to quickly remind you can catch us on TikTok as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Husband Podcast. And for those of you interested in promos and shout outs, you can shoot us a DM on IG at Hold Husband Podcast, as well as emails at holdhusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I want to start off by giving a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us lights with our background music. I'd like to also remind everybody to continue supporting the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. And I'd also like to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. We got an interesting episode lined up today. Today's episode is titled L is for Lesson. And we're just going to be kind of recanting, or discussing how guys are forced to learn about women and dating, and kind of how brutal it can be. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to start the podcast off by discussing stuff that we've seen on our timeline. So we got a couple interesting videos. This first video is a lady. She went viral for some unpleasant things recently, but she's in this particular video, she's talking about women that withhold intimacy from their husbands. Let's take a look.
People would say you're condoning bad behavior.
Well, I think it's bad behavior to deprive your partner of intimacy. But I think that's bad behavior also. Why is only one side of the coin bad behavior? So when I have a client and he says to me, my wife hasn't slept with me in a year, or even if it's the other way around, I've had women that say to me,
sure,
my husband hasn't slept with me for a year or two, and the cheat is like the villain, but why isn't depriving intimacy villainous behavior? Now, everywhere else in the world, they think men are men. They realize that men have this testosterone that if you don't sleep with them, they're going to go somewhere. That's an unwritten rule around the world. It's only in America where they think that we're not going to sleep with you, you're not going to cook for you, we're not going to clean for you, but you better be loyal to us, because if you're not, we're going to humiliate you and defame you everywhere we go. That's unheard of in the rest of the world. They just think loyalty is a byproduct of a good relationship. Whereas in the West, it's loyalty first, and how I treat you is irrelevant.
What she's talking about is really essentially the perspective on cheating that I've been discussing for several years, where it's not like you just going out and cheating and all you're doing is everywhere you're trying to smash hoes. My perspective was the husband that was not having his needs met, did the conversations, did went years of unhappiness before I decided to actually go through with cheating. And what she's talking about is the male perspective, where you feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing as a husband. I'm being loyal, I'm doing all these type of things, and I'm not getting, I don't think my sexual needs was unreasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm Gucci. It ain't, what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we can switch it up and do. I ain't want to do. I expect sex in the morning and sex every night. Some dudes have unrealistic expectations.
Right.
But for me, like I said, that was my only motive. You know what I mean? Like, and when I've tried to explain that a man can cheat and still love his woman and family, and not have no plans on being with a side chick, they view it as a way to supplement what they're missing out on from at home. And a lot of, and you all, it's always, there's never a reason to cheat and all this stuff until a woman's cheating.
Cheating is cheating.
Yeah, so the male perspective, or that logical perspective on it, this is my real first time hearing a woman say it. What'd you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And she was on the money with that. But what it is, women understand that they can use sex as leverage. They can weaponize sex, especially once you're married, because that's a permanent commitment, it's a permanent decision that you've made to that woman. Because a marriage is a legal document that binds you two together. What reminds me of that video we covered a while back. I believe he was an attorney, and he said, once you get married, hey, you can't force the woman to have sex with you, but if you do get divorced, she could take half your assets here. But
her stuff is enforceable.
Yep. So women understand that they can leverage sex in a relationship. Especially if you're married. Hey, you ain't do X, Y, and Z. You know what? You ain't getting no sex tonight, because we hear this all the time. That's not uncommon. right? You think about this: when women first get into a relationship, you're used to getting sex all the time, and then a lot of times you hear when folks get married, there's a sudden shift and the sex isn't happening as much. And I know you talked about this ad nauseum on this, that you cheated before in your marriage because you weren't getting your needs met. So I think this is relatable to you here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is relatable to a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But there are just natural circumstances that impact the frequency of sex and that getting careers, like going from meeting someone when you're in your college peak and y'all both got several, you can smash at any time during the day, and so like you have a lot of flexibility when you're in college. So the structure and responsibility that comes with getting a house and paying bills and all that impacts it. Having kids obviously impacts it.
Absolutely.
Getting older, like your taste change, like your looks change and go up and down all this. So it's a combination of things that impact it. But I also think that from my perspective, the only perspective that I can really give is guys that were really successful as bachelors that experience being with one woman, and what makes it easy or difficult from kind of that aspect. A dude that's used to having 5 or 6 chicks that he's smashing on a weekly or bi-weekly type basis to then have all his needs met by one woman. I think a lot of women that are dating that type of man underestimate what his sex life may have been like,
right,
while they were just kicking it or dating. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's one aspect of it. And then if you're not going into it with a logical expectation, okay, you're getting rid of your favorite head doctor, you're getting rid of your favorite this, you're getting rid of your,
right.
So like you have to condition your brain to have realistic expectations of your woman. You know what I mean? And I also think this applies for men and women. I think you should use masturbation to supplement some of the sexual tension in the relationship. Like, it's not realistic to expect every time you horny your spouse is gone, or every time you horny y'all gonna be around each other. So I think masturbating can prevent a dude from making a lot of bad decisions.
You know what? But some of you view that as negative, right? In a relationship, if you're watching porn.
For real?
Well, I've heard this before. Like watching, you asked me and you watching porn.
If you overdoing it, I can see how that can be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your perspective on it's not real, if you start expecting your woman to behave like the woman getting paid for sex, and you know what I'm saying? Like, if you start expecting what you see in porn, and you're gonna be disappointed because of your own expectations.
Yeah, that end of it, I could definitely see that end of it, where you're kind of just overstimulating. You're expecting, to do like they do, like the porn stars in the video. I don't think that's necessarily realistic.
Or you get to the point. Well, see, a lot of the behaviors that lead to they get addicted to porn only just talk about that. They don't talk about what if she got fat? You know what I'm saying? What if he's not attracted to her no more? Like, what if there are other factors that make him rather jack off than smash her? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's always just painted as, no, he's just addicted to porn. He chose porn over me. Well, sometimes it could be, you know what I'm saying? Like on you could be part of the reason that he no longer wants to have sex with you, or he thinks it's boring, or you know something like so. There are a lot of things that you have to do to actually mentally stimulate one another. The flirtation, to make somebody actually feel wanted and desired. Those feelings can be very difficult to replicate. And when a person is absent of those feelings, it can really shift how they feel about the relationship.
Can you speak to this? Do you say it's, I guess, hard to keep up, sexual attraction and desire, like once you're in a marriage, in a long-term marriage? Does it become harder over the years, or was it always easy for you because you found ways to keep it fresh?
It wasn't always. I fell off. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it take effort. I went from being naturally fine, 6-pack and all that in high school, in the Army, to after the first couple of years, 3-4 years of marriage, I went from like 200 pounds to 255, almost 260. Like, so I'm super embarrassed of my pictures that I had when I wore 2X, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was a teacher, like my students was like, man, you were fat, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was their favorite teacher, so they kept it real with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the when it's you that's falling off, it's harder for you to see it, you know what I mean? And plus, I was married, so I wasn't chasing chicks. I wasn't there was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see it until it was kind of too late. But now that I'm back in my old body and back in shape and all that, yeah, you gotta actively do it. You know what I mean? Like muscles don't just stay muscles because you want them to stay there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in the discipline it takes, the saying no to drink sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like the choices that you gotta make to be fine in your 40s is way different than it is when you're 19. You know what I mean?
No question.
And so yeah, it takes a lot of effort, but I would say it's a lot easier if you just keep it and maintain it than falling off like I did and having to kind of, like I said, if it wasn't for Sean T and Hip Hop Abs, man, I don't know where I would be as far as my physicality, physique and all that. But he got your boy right. And plus, once I purchased the house with a pool, I was like, man, I gotta be pool party ready year round. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Hey, yo, I'll be taking your shirt off and looking at you crazy. You got a whole beer belly hanging out.
I mean, now, you know, like with me, with my working out and all that, like, man, ain't nobody there with you to motivate you to do it. Ain't nobody gonna wake you up to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta want to do it and actually have the discipline to do it. Like, I wake up at 6 a.m. to work out about 45 minutes. And when I'm done, I'm drenched in sweat. I'm totally out of energy. But ain't nobody there. Only reward I get is from seeing the stats on my Apple Watch. Like, yeah, fool, you put, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you can look at the calendar and see how much work you put in, and you can track how many minutes. And when I look at it, like when I'm out in public now, like you can look at men and tell the ones that don't work out and don't care what they eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like we just got an epidemic of men BBLs. So if you see a man that his physique, his arms, his muscles, his chest and all that is tight, it's because he's putting in the work to keep it like that. So yeah, you definitely got to put in work to stay attractive for your spouse and for self-esteem purposes. You know what I mean? Like,
no question about it. Man, I've been there. Trust me, I've been 300 pounds. Yeah, but now I'm 6'5", I've been 300 pounds. I'm now 240 in the 240s range. So I definitely could really, and you know, I can
300. That's a big. That's 60 pounds. How long did it take you to lose the 60 pounds?
About a year.
That's what's up, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, can't nobody do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, most guys don't take the shortcut route. But once you figure out what to do, you got to make it a part of your routine. Like, now, I don't feel right if I don't work out, or if I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think about it. So I work out even on vacation or out of town and stuff like that. Because I remember what it felt like to be fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, how embarrassed I used to be. Like, when I see the pictures now, like, goddamn iPhone bring up pictures and memories.
Yeah, it's from 10 years ago. You're like, hey, who was that? Like, damn, I know I was big, but I didn't realize I was that big. Then you see the pictures now, you're like, damn.
Face round, and you just like, damn. Like, it's like, so I can sympathize or empathize with guys that are overweight, that are not having success with women. Because if I had been singled in, I would have been one of the dudes that wasn't getting. Well, I ain't gonna say I knew how to talk to chicks.
You know what? I realize it's all about, you know, how you. I guess it's all about how you carry yourself, right? Because, you know, I've seen big dudes.
Yeah. I got homies that are fat that have success with women, but it is still a drastic change. Like,
absolutely,
when you short, when you fat, and all that, when you bald, like, I was bald and fat, you know what I'm saying? Like, before I put my hair back. So my physical appearance transformation, like, it's like I went back 10 years. Like, now I got my hair back, now I'm back in shape again. So I look like I was supposed to look the whole time. But it's because of my own laziness, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't work out for years, and drinking beers every day, watching, you know what I'm saying, like just the partying and turning up, it catches up with you once you get out your early 20s.
Yeah.
Let's keep things rolling, man. This next video was is interesting because to me it just highlights kind of how clueless women are about how dating really works. This is a video, I forget the name of the podcast, but one of the women is talking about how men should, or why people should express their intentions from the very initiate of the first date type vibe. Let's take a look.
When someone say they like you, you automatically assume they want to be in a relationship with you, or you just think they find you attractive?
I mean, you should establish that from jump. I was talking to somebody today, matter of fact, and he sent me a meme, and it was like a woman in a wedding dress. The caption said, "Women in their 40s on a first date." And then I was like, I mean, I feel them because you gotta come into whatever relationship you're building and let that other person know what your intentions are. Just like how equally there's men that go on dates just to you and pay for the date and expecting that they're gonna get It's the same thing.
All right, so a couple of things in this video, and listening to her try to explain her logic or reasoning or whatnot, that just reinforce why women have such a lack of success. So the first thing is the disclosing your intentions on the first date. And her comparison is guys hoping to have sex with a woman expressing her desire to be married on the first date. To me, those are two completely drastic things.
Yeah.
One, sexual desire is common sense. For any man to shoot his shot at you, there's sexual desire. He eventually wants to have sex with you. Otherwise, that activity would never take place. But the problem with it's funny because everybody on the podcast busted out laughing at the same time, right?
Yep.
The 40 years on the first date.
Yeah, with the wedding dress, that was funny.
Yeah, because what they're doing is actually going to give them the opposite result. You disclosing that on your first date, talking about marriage and your goal is to be married, is going to make most guys only smash and dash on you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because we all know what happens once you get involved with the woman and she starts liking you. Those behaviors naturally come to the surface. But if a woman's disclosing on the first date, most guys are going to view that as a red flag.
Exactly. Like, hey, I want to get married on the first. Like, first of all, I'm on a first date with you. I'm trying to see if I even like you enough to want to see you on another date after this.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you know, I want to see if we vibe well, if we mesh well. There's some compatibility there. Obviously, the sex is a given because, right, you shot your shot at her. There's some sexual attraction. So obviously, you would like to, you know, see what it's like to have sex with her. But you want to see if if you're looking to, you know, date a woman, you want to see, okay, do we have good conversations, right? Is the vibe there? Is there a level of compatibility? That's what's going to determine whether you want to go see her past that first date or not. If it's not there, all you're trying to do is get, you know, for me, all I'm trying to do is get her into bed, and that's it. And we're going to just keep it pushing here.
Well, yeah, I mean, from guys, it's always been that way. Like the guys that figure out how to determine if a woman's sexual interest is mutual and learn how to execute it better than other guys, those are the ones that have success. Like, yeah, well, I mean, as far as physical attraction, guys are in general attracted to generally the same thing. But some guys know what's in their lane and what they bring to the table, and they respond accordingly. Like guys are not really as delusional as women in regards to what their dating market is, because guys are taught, you know, from a very early age, you are put in your pecking order as far as
absolutely
whatever your limitations are, whatever girls don't like about you, you're going to be very aware of it by the time you get to 10, 11 years old. You're going to know if you dark skin, you chip tooth, whatever women got a problem with you, you're going to be very clear about it. And you, in order to have success, you're going to have to find a way around it.
Yeah.
making them laugh, being funny, being, you know what I'm saying, like doing different things.
You gotta find what your niche is. You kind of gotta find what your niche is, you know, and use that to your advantage as a man, right? Especially, you know, and women penalize us for stuff that is outside of our control, right? We can't control how tall we are, right? That we have no control of. That's genetics, right? That's biology. That's genetics there. You know, if you're under 6 foot, women hold that against a lot of men. So as a man, you got to figure out, well, okay, well, I'm 5'8". All right, I got to figure something to make up for that, for being 5'8". And I've seen it work for some men.
A lot of luck comes into the equation when it comes to guys that are having desire by women. You can't control how tall you are. You know what I'm saying? Like you can now, once you, like we were just talking about, once you're an adult, you have a lot of influence over your body type and how you shaped and all that. But it's limited. You can't make yourself become taller. You know what I'm saying? Like there's most guys ain't getting plastic surgery and doing all those type of things to fix their face, because guys' dating success ain't as dependent on looks as it is for women. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be the most attractive guy in the room to have success with women. And a lot of that is because the way I always viewed it is like playing somebody in basketball one-on-one. Like you ain't got to be the best player in the world to be better than average at one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just have fundamentals and strategy and be better than average. And that's kind of the way I always look at chicks. Like, all right, I can figure out which ones like me by how they respond. And as long as I can have a conversation and she finds me attractive, I feel like at least 50-50 chance of, you know what I'm saying, getting a date and getting a conversation and all that. So having that realistic approach, I'm not shocked if a chick like a dude is taller than me or big, you know what I'm saying, like stuff is more popular. It just comes with the territory. But
think about this for a second, right? God just wanting to have sex on your first date ain't no different from a woman saying, if you're on a first date, wanting you to protect her from, say if a random stranger runs up on her, tries rob her or something, right?
It's automatic. It's assumed.
Yeah, it's assumed, right? She expects you to step in and intervene in that situation to stop that.
Right. And it also represents a major difference in guys' sexual standards. You never hear guys talking about, we gotta go on this many dates, we gotta do all this to have sex with a chick. Because guys are very optimistic and a lot of guys don't even know when they're gonna have sex. So they're down to have sex whenever you down to have it. And whenever you give the green light for it. And it's the only reason women can manipulate sex and use it as they can only monetize it because they know that there are men that desire it and will jump through hoops to get it. You know what I mean? Never mind. I'm not gonna bring it up. A funny story about a youngster making his first attempt to try to get some pussy. But I ain't gonna. I ain't gonna get involved in it.
Gotcha. Understood.
There can be some extreme situations that guys will go through in order to have sex with women, and they know this. So, but when it comes to marriage, though, you have to be dating a guy several months or at least a year or so for him to see you in enough scenarios and learn enough about you for him to be viewing you as somebody he wants to have kids with and be with long term. I think a lot of times we met in first date and I knew she wanted her to be my wife. Like, to me, that's nonsense. Like you can probably envision yourself being with somebody long term, but to me, that's just total BS.
Right. There is no way to get to know something like first initially seeing them or going on a first date. There's no way to know that, right? You can't, at least like you said, 6 months to even a year to really kind of, and even then you're not going to necessarily know everything, but you're going to know enough to see, okay, can I see this as a potential marriage?
I would say that in this era, based off social media, you could have been following somebody for a long time and learned enough about them that that period is shortened once y'all start linking up in real life. You know what I mean? Like you followed her for 3 years and y'all followed each other, but then y'all dated for a couple of months and realized y'all were actually a fit. I could see that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so social media, your pre-scouting or what you learn about the person prior to linking up with them does fill in some of those gaps in some of those areas to where you can see, all right, my lifestyle aligns with hers. She got a career. She's not a thought, you know what I'm saying? So I can see some of that shortening the period, but I don't think most guys approach dating with, man, I hope this ends up with where we get married. Like that is more of a thought that comes once a guy is actually enjoying the dating experience for an extended period. All right, looks like we up against the clock. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna get into tonight's topic, L is for lesson, where we're just talking about some of the harsh ways that men have to learn about dating women. You are tuned into the Hoe to Husband podcast. We'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hoe to Husband podcast. Tonight's episode is titled L is for lesson. And we're just going to be having a conversation about how guys have to learn about women in dating and how some of those lessons can be really brutal. And so I just wanted to start off, I think in general, little boys are taught how to cater to little girls, and little girls are princesses and they should be treated with, like little boys from the moment Disney movies, all these type of things, they're taught to put girls on a pedestal, to treat women a certain way. And I think that's kind of reflected throughout media, throughout our lives in essence. Valentine's Day, the holidays, Mother's Day, all these type of things that put women on pedestal. And if you don't unlearn that or learn the real reality of how to date women and how women actually operate, you're going to get treated like a simp and a sucker your whole life if there's no other guys to teach you or you don't learn from other people's experiences. So I think that in itself sets a lot of guys up for failure.
Yep, absolutely, no question. And I think it says, and I think the stuff we see in, even in media, even movies, romantic comedies, we watch that stuff growing up. So we thought that a lot of us grew up thinking that's how a relationship's supposed to be, that's how women's supposed to be, and it gave us such a distorted view. And with the women, and not so much. And a lot of us probably had to, back then, pre-social media, a lot of us had to probably learn that the hard way here.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest learning tool for me was just observing others. I had female family members, I have female cousins and all this. And so talking to them about dating once we were 14, 15, and started I'm talking to girls and I'm listening to them. I could tell, even at 14, I could tell that my cousin was delusional about how she thought about guys and how things worked. And I was trying to school her then, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to tell her how things operated and how the dude she liked was going to view things, and none of that mattered. She disregarded all of it. But this was in the 90s where a lot of girls thought, if we have sex, we go together, you know what I'm saying? Or you automatically, you unspokenly my boyfriend, and all this type of vibes that don't align with guys that are in their whole phase, you know what I'm saying, that are single and having success, even though it's limited, you know what I'm saying, but they're having success with girls as far as learning how to have conversations, learning how to steer conversations sexual, learning how to gauge a girl's sexual interest in them, you know what I mean? Like having those kind of are you a virgin? You know what I'm saying? The conversations you have back in the day. But you have to take the risk, you know what I mean? Like, because a lot of dudes are scared to talk about sex and scared to express desire. But but from experience, I was taught you have to figure out whether a chick is feeling you or not. And if a chick loses interest in you once you bring up sex, that just saved you time and energy. You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta. I had a real early shift on how I viewed rejection. That I think helped me a lot.
Like they say, 90% of communication is nonverbal, right? But I think you just have to be able to see the signs and be able to read the room of whether she's interested or not. But I think for most men, even initially approaching women, right? What's men's biggest fear? It's rejection, right? Even just trying to steer the conversation sexually, they think, well, and look, I've been guilty of this myself, trying to play it safe. You know, if I don't talk about sex, hey, maybe we'll just, luck up into it type of deal, right? And they figure, oh, well, if I bring up sex or, I try to make a move, she'll reject sex, or it'll mess up whatever rapport I've already had with her. But like you said, if she rejects those advances, you see that she's not interested. And like you said, it just saves you a lot of time and energy down in the long run there.
You know what, hearing you say that, it reminded me and recently I had dinner with my best friend in Dallas, and we were talking about some of the ways me and him learned from each other in regards to chicks. But what you just said, it reminded me of lessons that I would teach myself. Like, I spoke on this on my lives back in the day about how when I was a teenager, I had my own phone line. Right. So back in the day, before cell phones, you could have a separate phone line in your room to where you had your own phone number, own answering machine, etc. Yeah. And so once I think I was 14 or 15 when I got my own phone line. So then you could set your messages with the R&B music and the whole nine.
I remember that.
All the type of stuff. But when I would be on the phone with girls, I would be in the mirror practicing my body language, you know what I'm saying? Practicing as messed up as it is, I guess. I would be practicing how to lie. I would, in my brain, I'd be like, I'm gonna make up a story and I wanna see how believable I can make it. Like, not lying about, you know what I'm saying? I'm 16, I'm 15. No, I'm gonna make up a fake scenario and I'm gonna see how far I can go if I keeping it realistic. So I would do that. And then I also learned how to do what you just mentioned, how to steer conversation sexual. And so one of my go-to moves is when I would be on the phone. You know how you have your TV in the background or whatever. Yep. So I would be on the phone and then I would just be like, bust out laughing like, oh, that's crazy. Like, and then like, what you talking about? Like, yo, this dude just got caught giving head to his girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just make up something sexual with a sexual in it to be able to steer a conversation. So those little conversation maneuvers that I perfected kind of put me in a position where very early on I was the one setting the scene. Like I mentioned, I had orgies and threesomes and stuff like that in high school. And so when I was talking to my best friend, he was like, man, you was the most confident dude I ever met. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, for real? I was like, I didn't feel like I was that confident. He was like, you would be like, I'm gonna say this, you tell our friend this, and then we gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? And it would work. And so I thought about that, like all those skills that I would practice on my own that I was actually able to put into use when me and him were in high school. Then we went to the Army together and then went to college together. So we had so much rapport on being wingman and tag teaming chicks. It was just really interesting that you brought that up. Like, I wonder, because I was never scared to do that, because I'd be like, nah, if she scratch off my Rolodex and I ain't gotta spend no more time talking to her if she don't talk about sex, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Man, you was Hitch before Hitch. Doing this way back when. Damn. They could have made a whole movie on that alone. They could have sold, man. Hey.
Well, I saw other dudes having success, And for me, I was always the youngest person. You know, like I skipped a grade, so I was like the youngest person in my class. So I'm always learning from other dudes. I got to compete against older dudes, and so all those things make you better. You know what I'm saying? Like make you better at sports, make you better at, you know, like I said, I had my lessons that I learned the hard way about girls getting my feelings hurt. When I learned that being a nice guy, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to convince a girl that you so nice and you'd be the perfect boyfriend. Like that has the reverse effect. You know what I'm saying? Like because I was ignoring the chicks that actually wanted to smash me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was ignoring the girls that actually liked me because I was a hopeless romantic, like you said, the romantic comedies and all that. And you just have to learn to work through it. Like your feelings of I don't know if I can't speak, but I used to obsess over girls. If I had a crush on a chick, I would think about her all day, and I would be writing letters, and I would be like, I was obsessive about trying to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like so, but that I was wasting a lot of time and energy. You know what I mean? Until I learned, okay, I'm gonna learn how to flirt. Well, first of all, it was a self thing. I need to learn how to make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like make sure at least over 50% of them find me attractive. And then I learned how to step my flirt game up. You know what I'm saying? Like in high school, I remember where I started when I would approach groups of girls, I started using the word ladies. How y'all ladies doing? You know what I'm saying? Like just little small flirtations, little stuff like that. Complimenting girls on how they smell. Damn, you smell good. You know what I'm saying? Like just little stuff like that let them know I was interested in them sexually. And then based off how they respond to it, you already know. But again, you gotta face that rejection head on, man. Can't cuss chicks out, be ready to fight. Bitch, you this. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it just makes you look lame when you do that, you know. Because the chick she turns you down. Just, you know, best way to do it. Hey, look, you know what? Hey, no problem. You enjoy the rest of your night, or enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is. Keep it moving. Hold your head high. That's really the best way to handle that situation.
Well, you know, me, I don't know why I was like this, but if a chick didn't like me and she was bad, I wanted one of my partners to smash. You know what I'm saying? Like so we was cool with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like where if she don't like me, we've hit some of the same chicks. Like so we don't beef over chicks like that. But if you ain't feeling me, that's cool. Like I'm not mad over it. Like I already, between me and my best friend, I already figured out how I can tell if a girl like him or like me. Like so I'm cool with it. Like I'm cool with smashing a roommate or a friend or and you got, like, I guess that was a lack of ego or just being realistic. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like you can't make everybody like you. But for me, I had to be able to talk to a girl. What's ironic though is that all these sexual stories, I've never had a one night stand. Never been able to seal the deal the very first night. I gotta have a conversation to be able to set the wheels in motion sexually. So that's my best friend was great at getting one night stands. He's probably had 6 or 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I've never. The closest I got, the chick got. It was at a Kappa Beach party in Galveston back in the day.
Okay.
Where I was shooting my shot at a chick, and one of our partners in the clique kind of shot at the same time, and I didn't want to look like a hater, so I kind of just let him make it, and he ended up smashing. So that was like I felt like my only one night stand opportunity. But it was a lesson. I never, ever let that happen to me again. To where I'm shooting my shot and another dude interrupted. Nathan, you know, matter of fact, I just posted a video showing that on my page yesterday where it showed that happening. But yeah, that was my one one night stand opportunity that I got robbed of for being a half a second hesitation. You know what I mean?
Man, that happened. So imagine that happened.
What makes it worse, we were all sharing a room. So so my best friend and the dude and Dre, the dude that stole the chick from me, both of them was in the room smashing the chick, while me and the other dude just had to keep walking the street like late until they left. So yeah, man. So you get some harsh lessons in the real world. You know what I mean? Like it's a dirty game out there. When you learn, when you start getting involved with women, you learn how things really work. You know, a lot of the insight that I have about dating and sex and all that come from being a side dude. You know what I mean? The conversations that you have with a woman that's cheating on her man, that puts you on a pedestal compared to her man. A chick that has a dude that's giving her everything, that's going out of her way to risking her job to come suck you. You know what I'm saying? Like you realize that women make a lot of emotional decisions just off of how they make you feel. And them being attracted to you and them looking forward to the sexual desire you express, the flirtation you express towards them, they look forward to it. You know, like that I think that was kind of the epitome of my call center days, to where that was my role at the call center. I was the flirtatious semi-manager that the dudes was hating on, and I was running through the baddies. That's for sure. Man. Or me and my homies were. You know what I'm saying? I became a capo while I was working there, so all that kind of just magnified the, you know what I'm saying, the swag of me in the building.
But also, you know what? And I think it'll lead to the next point. You know, adopting a player mentality. You know, it's not to focus on pleasing women, but leading to more success with the women.
Yeah, man. You know, talking to chicks, I learned that you have more success with chicks when you talk like, "What's up, head?" You know what I'm saying? Like, "What's up, applehead?" Yeah. Like, you just say something crazy to them, you get way more response and engagement than, "Oh, beautiful." You know what I'm saying? "You're the prettiest girl in the party." You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be able to find something to where she remembers you and she actually engages with you. And so being able to just keep it on a, yeah, you cute, but whatever type vibe. Again, a lot of guys don't have, like you said, they're afraid of missing out, so that they want to approach it like that. But that tends to get you the best results, to not be thirsting over, not to be showering with praise like a lot of the other guys are. I guess, I remember SD's talking about like why he don't slide in DMs and all that type of stuff. Yeah. I can relate to that. If she's attractive, she's got an abundance of guys trying to take her out and do all that. But there are other ways to be able to figure out if a woman is engaged or interested in you romantically. And so as a single guy, how you post and the type of the ones liking your pictures about certain things, you can, flirtatious comments and all those type of things, that could be used to at least give me the green light to be able to suggest something or spark a conversation in the DM. It may not be a direct, I'm shooting my shot at you, but it can be a response to a story, happy birthday or something like that. You look good for 41. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do little stuff to where she's gonna see it. And if she finds you attractive, if she hit your button, she go to your page and all that, if you ain't got a bunch of comic books and it's an action figures all over your page, she's gonna respond accordingly, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Send you a DM and everything, and then just take it from there. But and another thing, guys, you gotta pay attention to the dating experience of other guys in their life and use those lessons towards maneuvering your dating experiences going forward here. And I think that's definitely one thing to do. You can look at somebody else, maybe see where things that went right in their dating life and where they have success, and things that might have went wrong, where things that you're not going to use. But I would definitely, things that went right, I would definitely implement that and incorporate that into my own dating life. Even some of the things you say, hey, I heard that. I'm like, hey, man, I got to take this down. I'm definitely going to have to incorporate this right here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've started doing that. I think that one of the very first things for me was I didn't want a baby mama. So seeing, I had a cousin who was having baby mama drama, having to shoot at his baby mama's brothers, and they shot up his car and all kind of foolishness like that, to where I was kind of anti-baby mama. So that made me be at least adopt strategies that were, at least in my mind, reduce the risk of pregnancy and having a baby mama. So when I talk about my leaning towards oral sex and all those type of things, that was kind of what shaped my game plan on how I approach things. I much rather give and receive it. Like I had multiple, I don't know what your partners situations where that would be we might have smashed once or twice, but we gave each other head probably 15, 20 times. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just busting a nut, but minimizing the risk of her becoming my baby mama. And that was because of what I learned from other dudes. You know what I mean? Like I said, with me having a best friend that was very successful with chicks too, I learned so much stuff from him. You know what I mean? Like being like a big brother figure, I didn't realize he was learning a lot from me too. I like the stuff that when we talk about like where to stand in the club and all that, by the bar, by the bathroom. He's the one that had taught me to think like that, and where are the girls gonna be, where they gonna go, where are they gonna stand. Like I would have never started thinking about clubs and spaces like that until he was putting me on game. So yeah, learning from guys that are having success around you. And that works in a negative way too, because fuck boys learn fuck boy behavior.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Learn how to use that. They use that to their advantage as well. Because what they learn, I think what they learn is telling women exactly what they want to, even pander to a certain degree, but learn, okay, this will get the woman to sleep with. Hey, just tell her what she wants to hear. Oh, you want a relationship? Yeah, I want one. And just kind of pretty much using deception to get what he wants out the woman. That's where the fuck boys come in.
Yeah, I used to see that, and I always, like, I guess when I got to the Army, and I saw how a lot of dudes from different places operated, they operated from that. I'm going, like you said, I'm going to mislead chicks to tell them all this stuff. Well, I'm a 17-year-old in the Army. So I was already in a winning position because I was positioned as I'm the youngest dude in the Army, but among the high school population in the city, I'm lit. You know what I'm saying? I'm 17 and I'm the grown 17-year-old. So me and Corey, we 17, 18, like the young soldiers. We were able to be at the high school games and interact with the bad cheerleaders and the baddest chicks in the high schools.
Right, because y'all was the same age. A couple of them are probably older than you at the time. Because they're high school seniors. They're 18. Majority of them are 18 years old.
Yeah, they were. Some of them were older than me, but that gave me like a unique position to be able to. Like I said, I had my own dating pool essentially, because the high school girls would be like, "Oh, you live in the barracks? Like you got a car? We can go on dates. You ain't got to ask."
You really had the best of both worlds, because you were old enough to where you go to high school, right? Because majority, the juniors, seniors were within your age bracket, right? And then you can go mess with the ones at the barracks, or even outside of base. So
it started off with Yeah, it started off bad. When I first got there, I was 17, so I couldn't get in a club. I had to find a unique way to sneak in a club. Well, no, I didn't have a fake ID. This is where when you went in the club, they would put the stamp on your hand, and you put it up to the light over there.
The big X's with the permanent mark on your hands back in the day. Like to go if you're on the 20.
So what I started doing is I would take a pen and I would draw and I would smear the ink, and I would just walk in the club like I had already been in. So that's how I was able to start getting myself before I actually turned 18. But yeah, man, that was that. I guess you could say that was the best of both worlds because compared to the high school boys, I'm making my own money and I'm living like an adult. And then as far as in the army, I was still able to. I was smashing chicks in the army. I think the oldest chick I was messing with was probably 25. So I was able to. I was attracted to the older women and to the girls in my age, and I was able to learn from all the stories and stuff going on with the other dudes. As far as getting caught cheating and STDs, like man, some dudes in the army is just so trifling. You know what I mean? Like, and I was not only judge them by their behavior, but the chicks that chose them. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know a dude is got 4 baby mamas and this and that, and you know you signing up to be number 5 or not signing up to be number 6. Like I saw that stuff happening in real time in some instances.
Yeah, that's wild right there. But
yeah, man. Go ahead.
Years of meeting and interacting with women gives smart guys, the info they need to get time, attention, and sex from women. So that's a great point. That's really how I learned. Through years of experience. I kind of learned in my young 20s, into my mid 20s, is really just trial and error, seeing what works and seeing what didn't work. Right, going forward. I've had to make mistakes and learn some things the hard way here, and it's like, okay, let me not do that. I always, and even now, even if it's a dating game, in dating world now, I still consider myself a student of the game and still learning.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how things would operate now with all the methods of communication, meeting people, etc. But essentially, that's what success is. The guys that learn how to have a system or some type of system to where there's a measurable rate of success. Like obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but having a conversation, being able to make sure that the sexual interest is mutual. Those are the type of things that at least made me, all right, I'm willing to go on a date and willing to spend some money to be one-on-one with this particular girl. And it also told me who wants to cut off and stop wasting my time. Because that's where you lose majority of the time. The dudes that are just say just free food and all this type of stuff, those are the dudes that are ignoring the fact that she's not giving you no signs that she's sexually interested in you. Because I don't know, I guess it's like a chicken before the egg thing. How do you know how a woman talks to you if you ain't ever, you know what I'm saying, when she's sexually interested in you if you ain't never really experienced it before? Right. I don't know what's the you know what I'm saying, like how you go about that. But I really don't even remember how I learned it. I just figured out my experience with a chick that didn't like me. I'm like, oh, I'm never doing this again. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to convince somebody why I would be a good boyfriend. Like
I think that's the worst thing. I think that's the worst thing to do is trying to convince. And here's how I'm like, look, either you feel me or you're not. If you're not, look, I'm not an attorney here. I'm not here to try to convince you otherwise. Cool. If you're not shit, I'm gonna go move on to somebody who is interested. And and they might not like it forever. They don't find me attractive. They don't like the way I talk. They don't like my conversation. Whatever it might be. Okay, fine. For every person there's two. I look at it like this. For every one person that does, there's 2 or 3 more that do. So I'll go focus my time and energy on those.
Yeah. I remember when I learned in real time that being a hoe or having a reputation for being a hoe actually gets you more hoes. In high school, we had one of my homeboys, rest in peace. His name was Lenny Watts. And he was the only child. He was a spoiled dude, knew his shoes, knew this, new clothes, knew this. But he was like a phenomenal athlete. Multiple sports, he could dunk, he hit multiple home runs in this, he fast enough to be on the track team. Like so he's like the man in high school. And he at the high school that we went to, he lived in that city the whole time. So elementary, middle school, and high school, he been dating the chicks in the high school the whole time. So he had smashed so many chicks at the school, like that's what he was known for. And I remember we was in class one day, and I don't know if I asked it or somebody asked how many girls in the class would sleep with Lenny, and like 10 or 11 girls raised their hand. Like some of them was virgins. Like I would lose my virginity to them because it is. And so, like my brain, I was like, I was looking around like, are you serious? Like so, between Boomerang and my experience being friends with Lenny, that taught me that kind of shaped my mode. Like, oh yeah, like it's gonna be obviously known that yeah, I got hoes, but the roster's always open. You know what I'm saying? Like so, my flirtation, my vibe, all that was kind of shaped around that realization that damn, once they realize that other girls like you and other girls like having sex with you, they want to try to they want to find out, they want to experience it too. And so I definitely use that tidbit of knowledge going forward. Yeah. Because before then, you know, I thought you had to be a one-woman goddess to you know what I'm saying? Like, right. Based off all the stuff that you get told.
Man, that's wild. 11, man.
Yeah, dog. I could not believe it, man. He had it on lock. I was like, damn, and none of them was his girlfriend. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, he had a girlfriend, but everybody knew he had a girlfriend in a city, in the school, inside Kansas City. But in the suburbs, they were still sleeping with him like he was the most eligible bachelor in the school. Man. So yeah, that definitely created a sense of envy and gave me some goals and something to shape my behavior after. All right, man. Looks like we up against the clock. We about to get up out of here. Before we go, man, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with the background music. I want to remind everybody to continue supporting the podcast or our Cash App and our PayPal. We don't got SD with us. He got some other obligations for work, so we'll be without for a couple of episodes, but we look forward to getting him back. Jay, man, I appreciate you linking up so we can get this one knocked out. This has been another episode of the Hold On Podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.